Please be seated. A very good afternoon, everyone, and on behalf of everyone at Overseas Family School, a very warm welcome to this graduation ceremony for our class of 2021. We hope families and friends watching in Singapore and around the world will enjoy this celebration of a very memorable day in the lives of our seniors. The circumstances under which these students have had to complete their high school education and earn their diploma have been exceptionally challenging. Graduates, you can be doubly proud of yourselves that you are here today for us to recognise and to applaud what you have achieved in the face of great adversity. We hope that you will always have fond memories of Overseas Family School, your teachers, and your friends from Singapore, no matter where you find yourselves in the world. At the start of every OFS graduation ceremony since 1991, we have always recognised and shown appreciation for this country we have all called home, either for just a few years or for most or even all of your school life. After the Singapore National Anthem, this ceremony of recognition and encouragement to even greater things will be led by Dr. Simon Dench, the high school principal. Please stand for the Singapore National Anthem. Please be seated.
Thank you, Ms. Benton. Very good afternoon, graduates, and to everyone joining us online. I'm pleased to share with you all this very important moment in the life of our school, and in particular the young men and women of the OFS class of 2021. We will start with a school song sung by the high school choir and accompanied by the orchestra. I want to start by congratulating the class of 2021, not only for your achievements that we are recognising as you graduate today, but for the manner in which they have been achieved, especially over the last 18 months. In some ways, your journey has been even more interrupted than last year's class. While those of you taking your IB diploma courses got to sit your exams, unlike last year's group, the nature of your courses differed in many ways from the initial expectations. Some papers and topics were removed, IAs and some EEs had to be rethought. Extracurricular activities, including CAS, required considerable flexibility. I was particularly impressed by your response to the challenges posed by the completing of your CAS obligations. I watched you create and participate in some of the most authentic and meaningful student-driven CAS experiences I've ever seen. So well done for your creativity, persistence and flexibility in the face of the challenges that have come your way. But while the last 2 years of your OFS journey will rightly loom large in your memories of this place, your COVID experience need not define you. I invite you to reflect on your whole experience of OFS. For many of you, that comprises a large chunk of your lives. I want to particularly acknowledge the following students who have been at OFS since grade 3 or earlier. Can you please stand as I call your name and remain standing? Bear with me, this list is quite lengthy in this group. Since grade 3, Sunaina Borka, Arian George. Since grade 2, Tristan Brieta, Trishalini. Since grade 1, Gautam Balasubramaniam. Since K2, Katie Trainer, Jordan Zhao. Since K1, Lena Bendixson, Ranjan Subbarama, Arjun Tiku. Since pre-K2, Saleh Bhatia, Madeline Spence-Reid. Quite a large number of you have been here for a very long time. Thank you. Please be seated. Apart from your well-earned diplomas, what will you take away from your years here? I hope you can recognise the gift that you've been given with the opportunity to study in an international setting that is our school. Your experiences here will carry you forward and inform everything you do, guiding you in the way you relate to other people from every country throughout the rest of your lives. I hope you look back on your years at OFS with fondness and a sense of achievement. We are proud. Your parents are no doubt proud too, and you can be very happy that you have succeeded and will be awarded your diplomas today. In an unusual move, this section has chosen a double act to speak on their behalf. Can I invite Lena Bendixson and Ritika Awasti to the stage, please?
Good morning, everyone. Ritika and I are honored to have this opportunity to speak on behalf of the class of 2021. We'd like to welcome family, friends, teachers, guardians, directors, and of course, the graduating class of 2021.
At the beginning of grade 12, Lena and I made a joke with our friends that we were in a sinking ship. This was, of course, during a time where we had IAs piling up, TOK presentations, essays, CAS, tests, semester exams, and last but not the least, university application preparation. With this load on each of our backs, we sometimes felt as though our ship was sure to sink all the way to the bottom of the ocean. But here we are today, celebrating how far we have come, and now we're at the end of our high school race. We're at the finish line.
As we worked on this speech, we thought back to this joke we made about being stuck in a sinking ship. What we didn't realize is how united we all were in that ship. We were all there to help and motivate each other, and it is because of that unity and support that we, all of us in the class of 2021, have managed to stay afloat. Of course, it wasn't just the students, but the teachers who were also there to help us along the way, responding to our constant asking for a free period, to us begging them for that one extra mark on our test, and of course helping us whenever we bombarded their lunchtimes with questions regarding our IAs, which we could have and should have asked during class, but didn't.
Mrs. Das taught us the true beauty of silence with her iconic glance that indicated it was time for us to shut up, especially for Adya, Sulsia, and Jordan in their ESS class. Miss Ida, who taught us the importance of tolerating and understanding each other, regardless of how crazy we got. Mrs. Trivedi, who taught us how to find a ray of light in every dark and difficult moment, and the importance of loving ourselves and others. Our TOK teachers, who taught us the advantage of having an open mind, and our AAs, who helped and guided us throughout our entire uni selection process. And Mr. Reed and Miss Priscilla, who showed us the consequences of being late. Oh wait, that might still be a work in progress for people like Arushi.
And of course, we have Mr. Riordan, who taught Ritika how to wear her ID card throughout high school, except she never did.
I'm wearing it today, only for you, Mr. Riordan. Obviously, we've just mentioned a few teachers here, but we know every single teacher has made an impact. They've supported, motivated, and pushed us towards conquering IB and high school as a whole. And we shall always be thankful to have been taught by them. Oh, and Lena, how can we forget about Devesh?
Thanks to these people, every member of our cohort has great plans for their futures. Yashas will be attending UCLA, Ranjan plans to attend USC, Samarth will go to LSE, and Shreya will be attending LaSalle. Students from our cohort are also set to study a range of extraordinary subjects. Ruby will be studying theater, Katie plans to study architecture, Maddie will be studying illustration, and Do-hyun will be studying mathematics. This array of subjects and universities just prove how strong and powerful our cohort is. And yes, this may be a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. We are the future and we have the power to make a change. So may we all work hard and achieve our dreams.
But first, let's not forget our biggest obstacle, COVID. Here we are a year later, back to hardcore phase 2. And while we are privileged enough to be living in a country on the safer side, we should acknowledge all the struggles that we have gone through. In the middle of our last 2 years in high school, we got hit with distance learning and circuit breaker. I remember dreading the thought of being confined at home, but let's admit it, this was both a blessing and a curse. I'm sure we all loved sleeping in those extra 5 minutes, taking those quick power naps in between classes, muting our mics and talking to our friends on our phone, munching on snacks every now and then, and of course, Shoya giving us his house tour. By the way, we really loved your bathroom and kitchen, Shoya.
If anyone were to look at our grade from the outside, they would see so many differences between each individual, they would believe for all of us to be so divided. But we, on the other hand, believe it is this diversity that unifies us as a class. As an international school, there's bound to be cultural diversity, but there's also so much diversity between each personality you find here. From Amog singing in his English classes, to Rick teaching everyone about quantum physics, to Nikki and Daphne's psychic abilities, and of course to Utah sleeping in almost every business lesson. The immense presence of differences between each person at OFS is what makes us so open-minded. It's what allows us to be true to ourselves and find people who will support us, and it is essentially what makes Overseas Family School a family.
Yeah, we know all of us have had our fair shares of ups and downs, and there's no doubt about that, but no matter how much we've fought and argued, at the end of the day, we all love OFS, and a part of us will always remain connected to it, regardless of how many tests or assessments that we've struggled through. Speaking of which, Lena, have you ever cried over a test or an assessment?
Is that even a question? I can tell you now, not one person hasn't cried or at least panicked over a test.
Yeah, I can't even count mine on one hand alone. From not being able to upload an assignment on Turnitin, to the last-minute cramming with Ms. McConville about Brexit and Ebola for GP, to Mrs. Choi not giving me that one extra mark in our business test for a 7, having multiple exams on the same day, not knowing how to start our math IA, let alone any of the other IAs. Lena, we have truly cried over everything. Yet, I can't even remember what half those tests were about or what the scores we got for them. Those tears were quite a waste.
Tell me about it. I joined the school 14 years ago, not thinking about where my life would go. My main aim back then was to get a spot on the big swing, yet somehow I always ended up being the one pushing everyone on the swing. Well, the times have changed. We went from fighting for a spot on the big swing to now fighting for a seat at some of the top universities around the world. My biggest hurdle back then was learning my multiplications table, and now I am barely wrapping my head around logs. Before I knew it, I was graduating kindergarten, then elementary, then middle school, and now here I am graduating high school. And I would not have wanted to have spent these years anywhere else. OFS truly has become my home away from home.
And as our speech comes to an end, just like our high school journey, Lena and I, on behalf of the entire graduating class of 2021, want to thank our wonderful parents and guardians. Yeah, we know we may not say it often, but we're extremely grateful for what you have done for us. And it was your constant support and sacrifices that pushed us to do better, and we hope we've made you proud.
Going back to our ship analogy, after 4 long years in the sea known as high school, we've docked and made it to graduation. It's time for all of us to celebrate how far we've come as a crew, and before we know it, we'll be setting sail again out into the sea of life. Ritika and I both know that wherever the currents take us, the class of 2021 will conquer whichever seas we fall upon, and we will always have this crew to rely on.
Now that we've reached the end of our high school journey, let's take it back to when we first started out. When we were 5, they asked us what we wanted to be when we grew up. Our answers were things like an astronaut, princess, or in our case, mermaids.
Ritika, didn't you want to be a garbage collector?
Lena, we won't bring that up. Looking back at it, maybe it wasn't the best career choice. Moving on. When we were 10, they asked us again. We answered the president, a vet, teacher, or in our case, actors. But now that we've grown up, they want a serious answer. Well, how about this? Who truly knows? This isn't the time to make hard and fast decisions. This is the time to make mistakes.
Take the wrong train and get stuck somewhere. Start a new hobby and realize you absolutely hate it. Learn a new instrument or major in philosophy because there is no way to make a career out of that. Change your mind and change it again because nothing is permanent. So make as many mistakes as you want. That way, one day when they ask us what we want to be, we won't have to guess. We'll know. This isn't an end to our journey.
This is just a new beginning. Love you, class of 2021. Peace out. Thanks for all the fun times in the canteen, classroom, beaches, and hallways. We'll miss you all. Thank you.
Thank you, girls. Well done. Now we have a senior musical medley with some of your very talented classmates on display.
Tonight I'm gonna have myself a real good time. I feel alive, and the world, I'll turn it inside out, yeah. I'm floating around in ecstasy, so don't stop me now. Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. I'm a shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing car passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go, 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 there's no stopping me. I'm burning through the sky, yeah, 200 degrees, that's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. I'm traveling at the speed of light, I'm gonna make a super
So this is what you meant when you said that you were spent. And now it's time to build from the bottom of the pit right to the top. Don't hold back. Packing my bags and giving the academy a rain check. I don't ever wanna let you down. I don't ever wanna leave this town. 'Cause after all, the city never sleeps at night. It's time to begin, isn't it? I'll get a little bit bigger, but then I'll admit I'm just the same as I was. Now don't you understand that I'm never changing who I am?
Let it roll right off your shoulder, don't you know? The hardest part is over, let it in. Let your clarity define you in the end. We will only just remember how it feels. Our lives are made in these small hours, these little wonders, these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away, but these small hours, these small hours still remain.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind. Hang it on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life.
A lot of talent on display, as I mentioned, and I think it's highly symbolic and representative of the talent that's evident in this whole group, and maybe an encouragement to pursue those talents with passion. Students in this class section have chosen Mr. Barnaby King to be their faculty speaker. Mr. King is a caring and kind-hearted teacher who's noted for his eloquence and his anecdotes. I'm sure he's going to share some of those with you today. Mr. King.
Thank you, Dr. Dench. Good afternoon, and a warm welcome to our directors, Miss Benton, Dr. Dench, colleagues, parents, and of course our wonderful grade 12 students. The last time I gave a speech at a graduation ceremony, I told a story about when I was roughly your age. This time, I'd like to focus on an extraordinary group of people, a group of people who have enriched my life, stuck together through challenging times, and to be frank, I think have been rather inspiring. I'm talking about you, of course. Often brilliant and hilarious, dedicated and brutally honest at times, you've always been a joy to work with. I've known many of you all the way from grade 9 to grade 12. I've even had the pleasure of teaching some of you during every one of those years. I clearly remember you in grade 9, perhaps an SPP, fresh from the middle school or straight from the airport. Everyone like rabbits caught in the glare of an oncoming headlight and never too sure of what's going to happen next. Nevertheless, you gave it your all. You stood in front of the classroom, reading indefatigably from huge, endless text type, or maybe copied, diligently into PowerPoint presentations, despite me repeatedly asking you not to. You crafted amazing things like a beautiful kimono out of nothing for your personal projects. You listened attentively to weird people on IGCSE listening exams from Cambridge University, lecturing you about the merits of making sculptures out of butter, or how an ice cream taster who had eaten 810 million litres of ice cream with a gold spoon couldn't consume spicy food, or wash with perfumed soap. Some of you were so inspired by the butter sculpture man, no doubt, that you have applied to join the very university that invented these esoteric listening exercises. In those days, I had a new home base every semester. But that all changed when you were in grade 10, and when I was fortunate to inherit a home base that I ended up sticking with right up until the end of grade 12. I'm indebted to you for some amazing discussions over the years, ranging from cricket to the collapse of Western democracy, to how the UK profited from its former colonies and the Black Lives Matter movement. Witnessing your evolution from giddy grade 10ers into articulate graduates has been an absolute privilege. I know that the feeling is mutual, by the way. When asked whether you'd enjoyed your time in my home base, one student replied, well, in the absence of anything to compare it with, I'd say it was incomparable. All of which brings me to the last 2 years, to my adorable IB classes, and to everyone too. To steal Mr. Reardon's words, my word, you are resilient. Admirably so, in fact. We've done discussing COVID to bits, and the world is as bad now as it's ever been. We've all entered a strange phase of being simultaneously exhausted by it and still utterly distraught by all that is still happening. No cohort has been as badly affected by this as you have been. Last year's cohort may not have sat their exams, but they still managed to get 3 semesters of COVID-free school experience, while you got 1. As happens in this world, I hoped for the best, but secretly expected the worst. Very early on, however, you re-educated me on how to deal with this. I thought highly of you before we were forced onto Zoom at the end of last year. But those Zoom sessions only served to elevate my admiration for you. The enthusiasm with which most of you kept those sessions lively, positive, and productive was, frankly, awe-inspiring. At no point have you ever given me the impression that you were going to let the situation get the better of you. You made the most of it and helped remind me of what the human spirit is capable of. As much as I want to name some special people, now is not the time. You know who you are, and if you're not sure, just ask me afterwards. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to say it wasn't you, of course. So, I'm not going to stand here and tell you how to be better people, or at least try not to. So, okay, 2 things then. In the spirit of the times and the conversations we've been having this year, you know them well. Please stop, or at least cut down on plastic waste. I'm serious, folks, we've got to do this. And remember to treat people fairly and be kind to each other, which includes sticking up for those who have been discriminated against. Now, obviously, there's a mountain of other things to be getting on with too, from conserving species to climate change and coming together to halt pandemics. But today is your day, and I want to get back to you. Mainly, I just want to pay tribute to a magnificent group of creative, endlessly positive and inspiring people who taught me so expertly how to maintain hope with a dash of defiance in the face of adversity. Thank you all. If you can maintain your indomitable spirit, the world will be in safe hands. And so, to the class of 2021, a very hearty congratulations.
Thank you for those words, Mr. King. And now to the conferral of diplomas. In my role as high school principal, I have carefully reviewed the academic records of these students. The Academic Board of Overseas Family Schools certifies that each student has met the OFS standards and requirements for receiving a high school diploma. As is tradition at OFS, the graduating students have also received a copy of the book, The Man Who Planted Trees, a short story about how individuals with determination and commitment can make a difference in the world. I will now ask Academic Advisor Mr. Gareth Wales to assist me in the conferral of diplomas.
Okay. Anand Parth, India. Awasti Ritika, India. Balasubramanian, Gautam, Singapore. Bendiksen, Lena Lee, Norway. Bhatia Saleh, Singapore. Borka Sanaina, India. Brietta Trisha Julia Marie Hueco, Philippines. Brietta Tristan Julius Mark Gueco, Philippines. Chadravedi Dhruv AJ, India. Choi Sangwon, Korea. Demustier Silsey, France. Gandhi Shaurya, India. George Aryan, Singapore. Hirano Shota, Japan. Jane Yashas, India. Kim Yu-ji, Korea. Lam Chi-nai, Portugal. Mahesh Sneha, United States of America. Pyun Ju-ah, Korea. Salubre Fagani Angelo Medina, Philippines. Sharma Mehek, India. Slater Leah, United States of America. Spence Reed, Madeline, United Kingdom and New Zealand. Subaraman Ranjan, India. Susan Panus, Meghna, India. Tiku Arjun, India. Tran Lam Dien, Vietnam. Trainer Katie Georgia, Canada. Trishalini, Indonesia. Trost, Antonio Cyrus, Germany. Vivek Anand, Raghav, India. Wang Xin-Buaya, China. Wei Jinghao, China. Wickramaniyaka Dinith Vinura, Sri Lanka. Xiao Kairui, China. Yamaya Shuta, Japan. Sao, Jordan, Australia. Sao, Xingtong, China.
Thank you, Mr. Wales. Well done, everyone. Graduates, we do hope that you will return and visit us anytime you want. Keep in touch with each other and your school through these visits or through our alumni network. Before I conclude, I would like to thank the teachers of these graduating students and our academic advisors for the extensive and thorough administration and documentation required before these students may be awarded their diplomas. And as always, thank you to the Parent Association for their support, for for this important ceremony in the life of the students and in the life of the school. Graduates, go well, be kind, do well, do good. Graduates, please stand. I present the class of 2021.